What's up, guys? I have been asked by several different people to go over how I do the ZG pulls without using any lips or any other consumables. I do use consumables for like oh shit scenarios like health pot. Mostly use health pots, but I try to keep the cooldown free for lips just in case it's needed. And I'll show you some scenarios in which you might need them. But for the most part, is what most people are used to. First thing I do is I always come down here and I look for the Berserker right up here and try and target him, get him marked. Marking him helps ensure I know exactly where he is throughout his path. Here I get some herbs. After that, I run through and just start running across the bridge over here. The idea is to get to the tree on the far side, alive ideally. Here I took a lot more damage than I usually do, but it's usually fine. During this time is usually when you have your boosties run over to the waterfall, of course. And we'll skip forward. Once we get to the tree here, we'll bandage up and whatnot. We'll make sure to mark this Berserker across the river, just so we know where it is. And we wait to drop combat. Once we do drop combat, we're going to hop down here, and these trolls that wander over here have a very small load distance for some reason. You have to be quite close to them to actually load them, and if they're not loaded, they're moving at like 10-15% speed. So half the time you're probably going to have to run up here and kind of trigger them to start moving. I do this more often than not. So I'll just wait there until I see them. I'll mark them up, and then I'll kind of walk them back to the tree little by little. If you just bolt back to the tree right here, you'll notice that they unload, and it'll take them forever to get to you. So you kind of have to walk them back to the tree. Moving forward, we'll wait till they actually get to the tree, because we don't actually want to start the pull until they're on the bridge. If they're not on the bridge yet when we start the pull, that's when we run into the problem of running into the trolls when we're coming back around. And that's what we're trying to avoid. So once they're on the bridge, you have two options. You can either pop a slow fall, mount up, and jump straight across, right over to here, and just start the pull straight away. What I tend to do is jump across the river, and I will come right up to about here, and I'll just kind of inch my way up onto the water, onto the edge, pop my shield, and there's a little spot right here that you can actually stand on without aggroing the gators. Stand on that, throw on your mount, and start the pull as normal. You want to make sure, like I said, you want the trolls to be on the bridge, but you also want to make sure that the Berserker is past the point. You want to make sure the Berserker is past this point right over here, the point where you normally want him to be before you start the pull. But then, yeah, you just do the pull normally, and the rest is fairly straightforward. I think most of you probably already know the route for this. The only thing I can point out is down at the bottom of the river where you can spawn the fishing boss. You can actually there's actually a reset spot where you can go to kind of freeze the mobs if you need to kill some time or wait for a cooldown or whatnot. Jumping down over here, pop another slow fall, renew your shield, and then right here, you'll notice right between these two tablets, there's a reset spot, and you'll see that they all stop moving. And you can pretty much indefinitely keep them reset, well, not indefinitely, until they get to you. Generally speaking, you don't want to keep them frozen for more than 7 to 8 seconds. If you do, then you're going to possibly reset them. So what you can do is, as I'm showing you here, you can run out, run back in, do that like every 6-7 seconds, and it'll keep them off you. When you jump across this river, you want to counterspell and blink immediately. And now one of the things here is you want this guy to be relatively close to you. So what you're going to see is I'm going to kind of stall right here to kind of close the gap between him. And the reason for that is because you want him into this Nova that you're going to use. But you'll see when I'm running through here, I'm face planting almost directly into the wall. Kind of on an angle there. Reason for this is if you're facing into the wall, it'll cause these guys to path down here to get to you for whatever reason, and they will just basically run right past you. If you try running through them, they're all just going to eat you as you run past. So you'll see they'll all run around me. I jump Nova, and we're good. When I was first getting used to this pull, I would always pop a magic shield or a mana barrier there, just in case they got through the ice barrier, because if they daze you, it's going to be really bad news. So when you're first getting used to it, I recommend using a magic barrier or a magic shield, and just to kind of make sure they don't daze you. Additionally, right here, there's a spot right about here on the ground where it's too steep for you to actually stand, and if you just run right across it, you'll usually fall into the water. To avoid that, you're going to want to, as soon as you pass this little bush right here, you're going to want to jump over it, as you see me do there. And then from here, it's just jump into the water, run up this tree, and a lot of people try to blink through this while they're in the air. Don't do that. Make sure you hit the water and then blink through. Otherwise, you're risking just blinking into the side of the tree and having to go around and possibly even die. At this point, I counterspelled the gators down here, and I'm looking for this berserker up here to make sure he's not too close. And when you jump down here, I usually like to jump to the left of this stalk right here. The reason is there's a fish right down here, and if you jump straight across here, that fish is going to aggro. If you jump right here, that fish will not aggro on you. And I'll kind of round it off when I'm about to blink across, frost over them. And here you got plenty of time usually to, if you need a bandage or whatnot, while you're waiting for those mobs. At the top of this hill, I like to stall it to let them run up as far as I can get them. And then blink away. This kind of forces them to kind of collapse on themselves. You want them at the top of the hill before you jump down. If you don't get to the top of the hill, they'll be running sideways across the hill to you, and they close the gap incredibly quick while you're in the water. Additionally, as I said, you want to close them all towards the top as much as possible. Occasionally, the berserker is going to be right here, almost on top of you, and you're gonna have to. It's gonna force you to jump off the cliff early. It is very much advised, if you have to do that, you try and collapse the gators as much as you possibly can on the top of the hill. If you want to blizzard them, however you want to do it, just get them as close to you at the top of the hill as possible, so that when you jump off, they're behind you and not advancing on you from the side. If they're coming from the side, they're going to close distance on you, and they're pretty much going to eat you in the water. From here, you're going to want to blink as soon as you get in the water, or as soon as blink is off cooldown. Anyways, I usually right here end up having to frost nova the fish. This time, I didn't have to. Apparently, I didn't aggro the fish. If you blink at the right time, you won't aggro them, but it's kind of hard to make that call. Right here, we're just going to do the normal jump and blink across to avoid the fish that's down here. And if we edge up the side, we can actually not aggro these gators. If you do aggro them, it's fine. I usually just frost nova the first two that get to me. Otherwise, I just do a one-tick blizzard and take off. And now, since we waited for them to get to the bridge here, the trolls will usually be closer to the end of this right bridge over here. Sometimes they'll be like right about here when we get here. At that point, we just hug the left and go around them, and there's no issues at all. At this point, we just renew our barrier. Blink. I usually blink across the bridge, and over here, this is actually a reset spot. You just standing here or standing on this route, just simply standing here alone will cause them to freeze. As you can see, I stand on the route. First thing I do when I jump on this route is locate the serpents here. It is extremely important you locate these serpents. If you can't see them, you have to assume that they're either right here or over on the left side. If I can't see them, I will begin stalling these gators on the bridge until I can see them, just so I know where they are. If they are at the far left side of this platform, when you go down here, they're going to pretty much screw you. And I will show you that real quick. If you get to the point where you need to stall, that's where you're going to come here. You'll see in this clip, I see them patrolling to the left, and I do not want to jump down there with them going to that corner, because if they go down, if they are at that corner, when you go up the corner, they're going to kill you for the most part. You want to get them away from that corner. So what you'll see here is I kind of start stalling these guys until they come around. So I'll wait 6-7 seconds, step out until they activate, step back, wait 6-7 seconds, and I'm just waiting for them to come back out so that I know that the path is clear. I think I do it one more time, and then I just take off, assuming that for the most part they're going to be good to go. So at this point, you just jump off. I usually do a slow fall here. You don't have to, but there is a fish straight below you down here that will hit you if you don't slow fall. You can mitigate that damage with barrier, but then you're going to have less barrier for these gators. It's entirely up to you. I opt to slow fall. You don't have to. Once you get here, you're going to counterspell the gator over on the right, come over here, and this part's kind of, you want to be very careful about this part. You don't want to blink too soon, but you don't want to blink too late. Additionally, you don't want to be parallel to this wall when you blink. You want to make sure you're aimed a little bit to the left of the wall. Otherwise, this wall, for whatever reason, hangs you up on the blink, and if that happens, you're either dead or you're forced to use a lip. So I'll blink there, and I'll frost nova these guys. Coming right around here, you're going to want to jump here, turn, and run up this hill. This is one of the spots that I probably use lips the most often, and it's pretty much just oh shit situation if I get dazed when blinking through that area. You'll have to use a lip if the mobs are like right about here on you. They're not hitting you while you're running this way, but when you're climbing up this wall, they can actually hit you through this corner, and you want to have a lip active if that's the case. So you want to be careful of that. And actually, we will show what a recovery of that actually looks like here. Had another clip where I intentionally kind of forced it, and start right here. So here I pulled them, I aggroed them, I blink, and then you'll see I get dazed here. I try and cone a cold, but you see that pack is just on top of me. Now, one of two things can happen. Either I can wait till I get to the edge and lip when I run up, or you can pop cold snap and wait till they get closer to you, nova, and then do that. That is a little bit more dangerous, and it's kind of reliant on them being close enough to you to actually pull off. You'll have to kind of make that call on the fly to determine whether or not you want to use a lip or just try cold snap. If you don't care about losing the gold, go ahead and lip, wait for them to catch you, nova, carry on. And then once I get to this bridge, I just carry on with the normal grouping them up. I'll jump up on the ledge, have them all group up on the left side, and then once they're all slowed, hop down and one more rank 1 blizzard. That'll get them all grouped up, and then I just go on with the normal kill phase of just max rank blizzards until everything's dead. Other than that, there's nothing else really too much different. One other thing I did want to go over is somebody mentioned they're not sure what they should do if trolls are approaching them, approaching the bridge right here. You see these trolls on these bridge. If they come up this hill with the mobs, they got a train on them, and these trolls are on the bridge. They're not sure what to do to recover from that, because if you run towards the trolls, you're going to die. If you jump off here, you're pretty much forced to use a lip, because the entire train is going to come at an angle where you have to run through them. The way I recover from that is I will pull these just to kind of give you an example. So if they are over on the bridge, I will hook a right here. And I will have the train come up on me, and I will just use this bridge to buy time. You can actually do the trick right here that you do on the other bridge. You just blizzard them a few times, get them grouped up, and then jump on the edge, and you're basically just buying time until those trolls are on the other side of the bridge. Now, the one thing you want to be careful of is you have to keep in mind that you have the cubs on this in this pack with you. You do not want to push those cubs to their fleeing phase during this. So you don't want to do too many blizzards. Just make sure you're cognizant of those cubs before or when you're doing this, so you don't accidentally cause them to flee. Once you're comfortable with the delay, you're just going to run up here, wait for them to get off the bridge, jump off, and once you hit the water, go ahead and blink and carry on with your typical pull. That's the easiest way I've found to deal with the trolls on the bridge here. Other than that, if you have any other questions, feel free to ask down below, and I'll do my best to answer them for you. For the most part, the pulls here are more all about getting familiar with the zone. I can't answer every little question for every little scenario, because it all depends on how you adapt yourself to handle it. Once you've run it a couple dozen times, it'll just become second nature. When you see something happen, you know exactly how to respond to it. I almost recommend forcing yourself to get into hairy situations just so you can see how you would respond. Because the last thing you want is to be boosting some players and get into a hairy situation, have no fucking idea how to respond to it, and then you're corpse running and looking like a dipshit to, 2 or 3 people that you're boosting. But yeah, like I said, if you have any other questions, feel free to post below, and I'll do the best I can to answer them for you. Peace.